Funding for this program was provided by Community Trust Bank, serving the communities of North Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi for more than a century. Community Trust Bank is a proud partner of LPB's Louisiana Legends.
Funding for this program was provided by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting.
When I think of James Davison, I think of two things. I think of a man that has dedicated the majority of his life to making the quality of life in North Louisiana better. James is probably the biggest giver of anybody I've ever met. He's got a heart of charity. It's impossible for him to say no when people need something.
When he graduated from high school, James Davison was determined to leave the small trucking business owned by his father. Over the years, James grew the hometown enterprise into a multi-million-dollar operation. Transportation is just one of several companies in the wide-ranging Davison empire, which now does business across the globe.
I think that his success is a product of hard work, and also he's been willing to take risks. He's borrowed heavily at times, and he's had really good judgment, and I think that's probably what his success could be attributed to.
When I think of James Davison, I think about a person who is a successful businessman, a great Louisianan, who is noted for his generosity.
James Davison's interests reach far beyond his business concerns. A graduate of Louisiana Tech University, James has donated millions to his alma mater. Davison Hall is a monument to his generosity and his determination to give back to those who've given him a solid foundation in life.
James Davison is a personal friend for over 30 years of mine. He's a benefactor of this university, but I consider him to be one of the most successful businessmen I have ever known. In addition to that, he has a lot of Christian charity in him that makes him one of the finest individuals that I have ever known. James Davison is a winner.
If my father were to have a motto, I think it would be the golden rule, that to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
One of James Davison's most ambitious and visible ventures is the $30 million Squire Creek Country Club near Shoudrant. Squire Creek has hosted governors, celebrities, and professional golfers on its immaculate fairways and is recognized as one of the top courses in the South.
He built that project pretty much single-handedly to improve the quality of life for that area of North Louisiana. It is truly a gem within this state. It is a very special place.
He supported Republicans, he supported Democrats, and I think the thing that guided his support for those candidates was that he really believed that the people he supported and backed were best for his state, best for his community, and best for this country.
Determined yet passionate, James Davison is a man who wears his achievements proudly, yet quietly. A Louisiana legend who has made his mark by sharing his success. Hello, I'm Beth Courtney. Welcome to Louisiana Legends. We're here with James Davison in the clubhouse of the beautiful Squire Creek Country Club near Ruston. And James, you have created this fabulous environment. What a beautiful clubhouse and golf course as well. And congratulations on doing this.
Thank you.
I know everybody's awfully happy in North Louisiana. Do your friends and neighbors just love having this here?
Yeah, we do real well. Have a few people from your area.
That's from here. All over the state. I understand this was named the #1 golf course in the state?
Yeah, it's a well-designed course. Now, I'm not a golfer, but Tom Fazio is a great designer, and we did the right thing when we brought him in, I think.
Well, as beautiful as it is up here, yes, I understand you do not play golf at all.
No, ma'am.
So why a golf course?
My siblings, my sons, decided we needed one. And I think Mike Ditka was coaching at the Saints when we decided to do this, and he kind of talked me into doing a Fazio golf course. He said there'd never been one fail, and I felt like we needed all the help we could get in this part of the country because we don't have a large population base.
Well, you grew up in this part of the country.
Right.
What was life like when you were a young boy growing up here in Northeast Louisiana?
Very different, probably a little more rural. My parents moved down from Arkansas and for my father to go to college. We were born here and raised here. It was a little more rural, but it's a great place. Good education center, good place for your children to go to school.
Did you think you were going to perhaps farm at one point?
No. I never thought about that, and we never did grow anything. I never thought I'd live here the rest of my life either, because most people that graduated from Tech were going to Houston and Shreveport and the cities, and I kind of thought that may be my.
Well, what changed it for you? Why did you decide that you wanted to make your fortune here and stay in Louisiana?
Well, I guess I worked in odd jobs in the summertime, and when I was about a junior, I started helping my father with the trucks, and I kind of got interested in it, and I thought it had some potential, and it's kind of weird. That's the reason I went to college, so I wouldn't be in that kind of business, because it had its peaks and valleys. Peaks wasn't so bad, but the valleys wasn't so good, and I thought I'd want a place where I'd have a regular job, and but I got interested in it when I was a junior. And
so when you were at Louisiana Tech, your alma mater, were you studying business then?
I had 2 or 3 majors. I wasn't sure what I was going to be, but I did get a degree in business at the end. I sure did.
Then from 2 trucks, you now have hundreds and hundreds of trucks.
Yeah, and I don't really know for sure.
How many?
500 or 600.
500 or 600 trucks. Why did you, when you were a junior and you're working, why did you think, I think this would be interesting and exciting? What made you think that?
My father lived in that other generation where you started smoking when you were about 10 years old. And I could tell that his health was failing, and it was more or less to help him out to start with, because he didn't have the stamina that it took, and I was more or less helping my father. And I took a liking to it, and I thought I saw some potential. And when I graduated from college, I had an offer that was a good job, and I mentioned it to my father and said, and this fellow's still living today. I kind of kid him every once in a while. He offered me a good job, and I told my father about it, and he said, well, we're doing pretty good right now. Why don't you stay in here and help me, and you can always go get that job if this doesn't work out. Kind of made sense, so I did.
And have you ever thought, what would life have been like if I'd gone to Houston or Atlanta or anything? Do you still think about that?
I really don't.
No.
We made that decision. I stayed with it, never wavered, really. We were fortunate, and a few good things happened.
Well, the interesting thing is, people always say low-key, you're quiet, mover and shaker behind the scenes sometime. But gosh, you have to have an awful drive to create what you created here. You have now, with this merger most recently, or this acquisition of companies, this is a huge company located here in Louisiana. Why, you could be really located anywhere, couldn't you? Why stay here? Why is it important to Louisiana?
Well, we are in a lot of other different locations. We're pipeline, trucks, terminals in different countries, even besides the U.S. We ship to Chile and some other countries. We never have, and my father started out like this. We were not just truckers moving products. We actually were buying products from refineries and peddling them. We were kind of a petroleum peddler, and so we sold a lot of our products, and then we got into the chemical aspect later on.
So the oil and gas industry, the growth of that really has been important to all that you do here in Louisiana, right?
To some extent, but if it if it weren't growing here, well, we had terminals and barges, and we'd bring the product here. If we made it here, good. If we didn't, we brought it in. And we also ship out a lot of stuff.
Well, the world's business these days seems to be such a global responsibility. What happens in Chile has an impact in, Ruston. I mean, has that changed dramatically over your career?
It has. I mean, this thing changes every year or two, and you got to be able to change with it. They make a lot of copper, and copper's in big demand, and we have a product that helps them make copper. So that's how we have tied in with them.
Well, you've tried to get into some interesting ventures. What's the venture that you've done that has not succeeded, that has taught you some lessons, do you think?
Nothing but the golf course. I'm kidding. It's been a fun thing.
Well, then the V car is something we wanted to have happen in North Louisiana.
We should have. And, I really do think I looked at it as a product that we needed. It was a safe car. It was very economical. I hate that it didn't happen, because it's going to happen somewhere else, and we'll be sorry that we didn't land it. I don't know all the whys of why it didn't work out.
One of the things that you've been so involved in has been in education in Louisiana. You've served on an awful lot of boards,
right.
not only helping your beloved Louisiana Tech, but also on some statewide boards for colleges and universities. You see this as an important responsibility for a businessman, a Louisiana son, to be involved in higher ed?
I served on one board for 17 years, and then I served on the PERC Commission, and we do have to change our education in Louisiana. I hate to say it, but as a businessman, we spend way too much money for what we're getting, and I would like to see us get a little more bang for our buck.
Well, one of the things they're talking about is perhaps that some universities would come together, and I don't know how you stand on the whole idea of Louisiana Tech becoming part of something else.
I think you have to. We've done this in business, and you just have to put some of these things together to make big things grow out of it. They have such a good school, they need to share it with the whole North Louisiana,
Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me that you've gotten all these folks to come back here for various activities here at Squire Creek, and everyone, Terry Bradshaw, Kix Brooks, all kinds of folks coming back. Are you sort of saying to them, come home, come home?
Yeah, Terry is kind of coming home. He's here a lot, and plans to stay here more in the future. We've been friends since right after he entered Tech, and have stayed friends. I've been in his wedding and know his family, went to all of his Super Bowl games, went to a lot of them. We've had a lot of fun together. Now he runs around with my kids more than he does me, but that's fine.
Well, now you have a loving and big family up here as well, and has everyone sort of stayed here close in Louisiana?
I have one son in Frisco, Texas, and I have four that are here, 3 boys and a daughter.
Well, one of the things that I hear about you is that you've helped an awful lot of people, and you do it quietly, and you're a generous person. Why do you think it is so important to give back?
My father was a very generous person. He just didn't have much to be generous with. I can remember it. Christmas time, every employee, he'd always try to go out and buy them a ham or do something for them. But I don't think that's just part of being what you are, I think that we have an obligation to help others and to share.
This segues a little bit from helping others and being involved. There's a different take now on political bents, and there seems to be a division in how you approach whether government should help or individuals should help, or church or philanthropy. And you are known as a big Republican who has helped many presidents, but I understand you also visited Edwin Edwards in prison. Is this correct?
Yeah, I'm kind of what you'd call more the middle of the road.
You're a bipartisan helper.
Yeah. Edwards and I have been friends a long, long time. We had a lot in common. We both liked airplanes, and we had a lot of things in common. And I think he there was a lot of good. He was very conservative, and I'm not radical conservative. I'm conservative to the middle of the road. You can't grow a business and be too conservative, although I thought I was pretty conservative in it, but a lot of people would look at it a little different. But no, I love Kathleen Blanco. I thought she was a wonderful governor for education. She really got into it. You know, I feel like as a business person, if this is our state, no matter who's the governor, we need to be their friends and we need to help them if we can. And I've always done that. I've been friends with all the governors, you know, since I've grown up.
Did they
Mike
ask
Foster, I'm very good friends with him and his son. And
did they ask
Dave
you for
Treen,
advice?
very good friends with Dave.
Did Dave ask you for advice, or Governor Foster?
You know, I don't know. I wouldn't say that they asked me for advice. We'd discuss things, and, you know, I'd give them my views, and no one's always right all the time, you know. We do have to do some consolidation in our education system, I think. We can't just remain being last in the nation and expect good things to happen here.
You're a product of a public school system,
right,
in North Louisiana.
And all my children.
And all your children. And what do you think has changed through the years? Or have we just not keeping up in Louisiana? Or what's your take on this?
It must have changed some. I was blessed. I think I had very good teachers all through, and I think my children did. They're in their 40s now, but I had 5 that all went to public schools and participated in everything. And to me, I sure do like that approach if it can work, because you're mixing with everybody, and you know, I never will forget. My son was living in New Orleans law clerking, and he came up here because he had a sick teammate, and as he visited around, saw all his old friends here, he said, "I want to come back home."
To like home is a real tribute to family and friends, I think, as well. And the connectivity to our state is something that we're examining a lot now, because as we begin celebrating this bicentennial of our statehood, it's sort of like thinking, you know, what does it mean to be a Louisianian? What does it mean to you to be a Louisianian?
Well, you know, I travel so much in other states, maybe I feel like sometime I'm a little part of them too, but you know, this is where I grew up, and the base of our business was here, although it's spread all around now. People are good here. It's a good place to raise your family, and we're a little bit extra blessed here because I think our education system is still good.
Well, you've managed to attract an awful lot of international people here to Ruston and to this event. I understand that the president was here, George W. Bush was here just recently playing golf. Is that true?
Right. He was. His father was one of the first people to visit this place when we opened it. And he and I had been friends even before he got in politics back in the 60s. I'd met him I did business with a refinery in Shreveport, and his friends ran that refinery, and I met him then. And he visited here. I'll never forget his comment. He said, "James, you did it right." He said, "A country club belongs in the country, and you built it in the country."
Not in the city.
Yeah.
That's right. That's a great comment.
I visited with him just a few weeks ago. I was down
How's
at
his
College
health?
Station. He's deteriorating as far as the strength in his legs, but his mind is great. He remembers everything, talks about things we talked about 10 and 15 years ago. So, and he's up current. He's a very, very good statesman. I'll never forget when he lost the election. He told me, "James, this man's going to be a good president that's following me, and we need to support him." He's a lot more nonpartisan than you might think. And I think we've gotten a little more partisan as time goes on. Maybe we come back. I'm call myself nonpartisan.
Well, it feels like that maybe pendulum swing back and forth.
Right
now,
does.
people are talking about that right now that there is such an antagonism going on in Washington, and certainly that's if you travel the world in international business, I don't think people outside our country understand us, do they?
They don't. They really don't. I was visiting with a guy in Turkey one time, and we were good friends, and I was kind of fussing at him when we had the Gulf War. I said, "Why wouldn't y'all let us fly over your country?" And he said, "James said, if you lived in Turkey and all you watched was CNN, you wouldn't like your country either." So I have an idea. What he's telling me is we're given the wrong perception of what we really are. That was about the time the big Colorado shooting had taken place, and I'm sure those people think that happens all the time, and it's when they don't really see us like we really are.
So communication sometimes doesn't necessarily assist us, does it?
It
this
doesn't.
incident. I think I sensed that when the world was looking at Louisiana after the hurricanes too.
Right.
If you're looking out into the future, 10 years, what do you see for Louisiana? Are we still going to be a leader in what, oil and gas? Are we going to do new things, do you think? What do you think's on the horizon for us?
I really feel pretty good about our future. We have an excess of natural gas, and the price is a little bit too low compared to what it costs to find it. I think we got a lot of opportunities right now.
You're doing your part.
Yeah, we're having, I think our opportunity right now is to educate people that can take these jobs. I think we're a little bit short on manpower, and hopefully we can grow our communities to grow some better businesses here too.
Well, are you going to, have you ever thought of politics yourself or anybody in your family? No.
Never have. Not really interested.
Yeah.
I don't mind helping my state or my leaders, but I don't really have any interest.
But you're going to keep helping Louisiana Tech, aren't you?
Sure.
That's your
in our state.
Evidently, there's an awful lot of pride in tech as well, and it's such a close spirit. It feels like almost like a fraternity.
It did, and it's a good thing for me. I have to give it credit for a lot of my success, and I remember when I enrolled over there, it cost me $18.20 to go in 1955. I don't know if we can sustain what we're doing right now with the cost of education. I really am a believer in TOPS. We got to keep that in for our students. We got to find other ways to help those that are in the middle that maybe not, that doesn't qualify, because we need them. It's like I said, we're short manpower, I think, in this state right now to grow things.
Well, what exciting do you have planned here at Squire Creek? I mean, I understand you have all kinds of entertainers coming up here at all times too, right?
We have a lot of it. We do. And my son Steve really makes these calls out here at Squire Creek. I just get the residents out here. I just live here, and enjoy it. And I guess I help him a little bit with some of it, but.
Well, James, for all the people that you have helped, and I've heard many stories about how you have flown people for treatments at MD Anderson in your planes, and you've helped other people when they didn't even know it, and your philanthropy is legendary here. And we thank you for visiting with us, and we thank you for being on Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and it has been our pleasure to visit with you.
We appreciate you coming up, too. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'll always be a North Louisiana girl.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
For a copy of this program, call 1-800-973-7246 or go online to www.lpb.org.
Funding for this program was provided by Community Trust Bank, serving the communities of North Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi for more than a century. Community Trust Bank is a proud partner of LPB's Louisiana Legends.
Funding for this program was provided by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting.